Hello. Have you ever been about to make an important decision regarding your brewery and you wanted some demographic data of some of the locations close to you, but you weren't really able to find that, or even if you did find some data, you weren't really able or sure how to make it real usable and insightful? What I want to do is show you a Tableau dashboard that has Central Coast zip code data. Could be used for anything right now. I have it filtered to a part of California. What we're going to do is use that to understand some of the main demographics in our target market. So we're going to look at each zip code and we're going to break it down by the total population in that zip code, what the average income level is, what the education level is, and then what the average age is. And then ideally, we can use a combination of those to really determine what's going to be our best opportunity to either target a certain zip code, or maybe it doesn't have the demographics we want, and we'll pass on that one, and we'll save our money and our time for another zip code that meets more of the demographics that we're looking for. All right, so here's our dashboard that's going through Central Coast demographics. I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to peg this to the Central Coast, but this data set is pulling demographics for every zip code within California, and then we could expand it to other states, and thinking bigger, we could do countries or something. It doesn't just have to be a US map. But right now I have it pegged to a relatively small corner of the world just so we can see what's going on here. So as we're looking through these, we're first looking at income, then we have population, average age, and then education level. And what each of these maps is doing is it's plotting that demographic for the zip code. And it's going to show a larger blue circle if it's a high value for that demographic. And then it's going to show, for example, a smaller orange type circle if it's low on that demographic. So this is showing that Malibu, not a big surprise, is pretty high up on the income level. And then let's just find up here, San Simeon in this case has a relatively low income level. This bar chart then is just sorting everything largest to smallest. So Montecito, Santa Barbara, Summerlin, that's probably this guy here. Yep. So they actually have the highest income in this data set. And then we could scroll down and see some of those with a much lower. On average, oops, I zoomed in there a little bit. Let's go back out. Something like that. On average, with how we have this filtered, the average income per household is about $93,000. Okay, next up, we're looking at population. So this is plotting the total population for that zip code. And again, the larger blue circles are larger populations, and then the small ones are small populations. On average, about 20,000 people live in each zip code here. And then we can see over here the ranking of the larger guys down to the smaller guys. Okay, next up is age. So I did age a little bit different. So doing a little bit of research on what the kind of target age for craft brewing is. You know, there's probably, you could go some different ways here. I had to pick something. So I plugged in 38 years old. If maybe your brewery targeted people younger or older than that, we could certainly modify the parameter to show it accordingly. And all this is doing is just showing how close the average age in each zip code is to that 38 years old. So on average in this area, it's about 40 years. And then some of these are going to be really close to 38. So that's why they get the bigger circles. And then some are going to be a little bit further away. As an example, as I scroll down here to the bottom, Carmel by the Sea, let's say, looks like maybe a lot of retired people there. That average age is 64 years old. So if you're targeting a younger audience, that might be one that would not be one for you to go focus on. On the other side of things, let's say you don't want a brand new to like 21. In that case, maybe the zip code, which picks up a lot of Cal Poly University, maybe that's a little bit younger than what your target market is. So this would be just a good way to see how each one stacks up and who you might want to target in the future. Then finally, we're looking at education level. So this is the percent of the population by zip code with a college degree. So overall for this area, about 36%. So 1/3 of people have a college degree. And that varies from in the 70s and 80s down to much lower percents. Cool. So I think the power of this is, as we're looking to where we might want to expand either our distribution or we want to go market in a new area, every locale around the state is not going to have the same demographics. Some of them are going to fit our target customers better than others. So this is a good way, instead of like blasting something out evenly across all different locales, to really get it more dialed in, so we have more success because we're hitting the target market that we want to bring into our brewery. As a final demonstration on here, let's just say we wanted to see the kind of the greater Ventura area. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that on the map. And it happened pretty quick, but everything else on the screen just filtered down to what we chose. So you can see now this is just picking up all the different locales on our map. So if you had a brewery in Ventura, you might not really care what's going on up here in Santa Cruz, right? Maybe you do, but maybe you don't, and you want to just keep it closer. So this would be a way where you could just pinpoint more into your kind of home location. And now you can really see what's going on in each of the different zip codes in the Ventura area. And then you can plan some of your different initiatives accordingly. All right, so that was the dashboard showing different demographics for zip codes in the area that we're interested in. So I think the benefit of this is really being able to target your efforts into what's going to be most successful. So if you want to find a new area to target with your beer distribution, and you know that most of your big fans are 25 years old and they have a college degree, you'll be able to use this type map to really get dialed in on who's going to be most successful when you expand into an area like that. And this was really an example of what's possible. So we could plug any type of demographic information in here. I just happened to pick these 4 that I thought were pretty universal. And then another benefit, which would be really cool, is to be able to match up your individual sales data to each of these. And then maybe we're able to find some correlations around the volume of beer you sell into each zip code and then these demographics. And that might help you really dial in your marketing strategy in the future. So if you have any questions on this, or if you'd like to see a copy of it, and then especially if you'd like to match up your brewery sales information to it and see if we can find some of those cool correlations, please contact me. My email is jeremy@centralcoast-analytics.com. Again, that was jeremy@centralcoast-analytics.com. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.